The night is gentle. The stars rest above you like silver grains scattered across a dark river. The air is still, carrying only the quiet rhythm of your own breath. And into this stillness, a story drifts. A story as old as the first fires, as soft as the moonlight upon calm waters. Far away in the cradle of ancient Mesopotamia, people lifted their eyes to the night sky and saw not only stars, but the presence of the divine. They felt the soft glow of the moon as the touch of a motherly hand. They spoke of a goddess whose voice was like the wind that moves over reeds, whose love was as endless as the turning of the heavens. Her name was Inanna, the Moon Mother, the Radiant One, the goddess of love, rebirth, and the endless cycle of night and dawn. Close your eyes and let us drift into her world. Inanna's temple rose like a pearl from the heart of the city. Its walls shone pale under the moon, carved with flowing symbols that told stories of love and renewal. Torches flickered along its gates, their flames bowing with the hush of the desert wind. Inside, the air smelled of sweet resins, of cedar smoke, of the earth after rain. Every stone whispered prayers left by those who had come before. It was said that Inanna's voice lived in the silver arc of the moon. When the sky darkened and the first stars lit, her whispers began. She spoke to dreamers, to travelers, to children who looked up from their beds of straw. Her voice was soft, yet it carried across fields, across rivers, across the deep silence of the night. You are not alone, the Moon Mother would murmur. You are held. You are loved. You are part of the great turning. Inanna was more than love. She was renewal. The people told stories of how she moved between the realms of earth and sky, always carrying the promise that endings were never final. Night always met dawn. Tears always found rivers. Seeds always returned to the soil, and from them, green life rose again. Her story was often told through the rhythm of the seasons. Each winter, when the earth grew bare, the people said she descended into the underworld, seeking the lost parts of herself. Each spring, when blossoms unfolded, they said she had risen, clothed in light, carrying joy to the world once more. To hear her story was to feel a deep calm. It was a reminder that all things turn, all things change, and within each change there is a hidden kindness. Imagine yourself now standing within her temple. The floor is cool beneath your feet, smooth stone worn by centuries of pilgrims. Above you, hanging lanterns sway gently, their light like small stars in a sky of shadow. A priestess sings softly in the corner, her voice low, repeating the same notes again and again, like a lullaby without end. The song speaks of Inanna's descent, of how she walked through 7 gates, leaving behind her jewels and robes, until nothing was left but her bare soul. The priestess's voice quivers like a reed in the wind, yet it carries warmth. It tells you that even in loss, even in the darkest gate, there is still love waiting. You sit upon the floor, and your breath slows. The sound of the chant wraps around you like a blanket, and you begin to understand what the ancients felt. The Moon Mother was not far away in the sky. She was near. She was in the breath, in the silence, in the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Inanna's whisper was not only for kings or priestesses. It was for everyone. Farmers, resting after long days in the fields. Mothers, holding their children in the hush of night. Travelers lost in desert sands. She spoke to each heart in the language of stillness. Her whisper was simple. Love is stronger than fear. Cycles will turn. Night will become dawn. Rest now, for you are part of the great river of time. The people often left offerings to her. Small bowls of honey, fragrant flowers, carved figures made from clay. These were not gifts for her power, but tokens of gratitude. Each offering was like a child giving a pebble to a beloved mother, saying, I am here. I remember you. Thank you for guiding me. And always, the Moon Mother's whisper returned. She was the patient one. She never hurried. She never scolded. She only held her children, softly, as the stars moved across the night sky. The city would sleep, but her temple would glow. Priestesses would walk its halls with oil lamps, their steps slow, their eyes lowered in reverence. They were guardians of her silence, keeping watch as the moon climbed higher. Some said if you stood upon the temple's roof at midnight, you could feel her presence most clearly. The stars would shimmer brighter, the wind would fall still, and in that moment you would hear her whisper, as though it was inside your own breath. Do not fear endings," she would murmur. "They are only doorways. Do not fear the night. It is only the cradle of morning," her whisper moved beyond stone walls. She was with the rivers, carrying boats under starlight. She was with the shepherds, guarding flocks upon quiet hills. She was with the dreamers, guiding them into visions of peace. Her whisper was a thread that bound everything together: the stars, the earth, the soul. And in this thread, nothing was ever lost. As you listen, you may feel her nearness now. Her whisper touches you like soft wind through an open window. It reminds you that you are safe, that you are part of something vast and kind. Every breath is part of the cycle. Every heartbeat is a step upon her path. There is no need to rush, no need to hold tightly. The Moon Mother's gift is rest, the knowledge that love is already here, and it will never leave. In the distance, dawn will come. The stars will fade into the blue. Birds will wake, and the city will stir once more. But Inanna's whisper will remain, carried in the hush of the morning breeze, waiting for the night to return. Now, let yourself drift deeper. The story slows. The night holds you in its gentle hands. The Moon Mother whispers again. You are not alone. You are safe. Rest. Beloved child, rest. And as her voice softens into silence, you feel yourself floating, lighter, deeper, wrapped in peace. Let us drift onward now, for the next story waits beyond the stars. The night deepens. Above, the heavens open like a velvet canopy, and the Milky Way stretches across the sky like a river of silver dust. Each star glimmers softly as though lit from within by some ancient memory. The world below is quiet, hushed as though it listens. In this quiet, the story drifts once more. It carries you southward to the warm deserts of ancient Egypt, where pyramids rose like mountains of stone and the Nile glided endlessly through fields of green. Here, under skies so wide that the soul could dissolve into them, the people lifted their eyes and spoke of the goddess of joy, of music, of the starry heavens. Her name was Hathor. She was the mother of laughter, the lady of the Milky Way, the priestess of the stars. Hathor's temples shone like beacons along the riverbanks. Their pillars were carved with her face, soft, serene, with the curved horns of the sacred cow, cradling the sun between them. These horns were not symbols of weight, but of care, for within them she held the very light of life. When night fell, her spirit was said to rise into the sky, carrying souls through the Milky Way, guiding them into rest. The people would say, the stars are her daughters, the countless lights of her love. To speak of her was to speak of gentleness, of the sound of sistrum bells, tinkling like wind chimes under moonlight, of dances performed under open skies, where priestesses swayed slowly, their hands moving like flowing water. In these moments, sorrow was lifted from heavy hearts, as though the stars themselves were gathering it up, dissolving it into joy. Imagine yourself standing at Dendera, where one of her greatest temples rose. The walls are painted with deep blues, scattered with golden stars. The ceilings above are alive with images of constellations, telling the stories of the heavens. Candles flicker against stone, their smoke rising like thin prayers toward the night. The air is warm, filled with the scent of lotus blossoms floating in bowls of water. You hear the gentle rhythm of drums, slow and steady, like the beat of a calm heart. The sound blends with the shaking of sistrums, creating a soft music that lulls the spirit toward stillness. Here, worship was not fear, it was joy. It was celebration. It was the healing art of beauty. Hathor was called the Lady of Jubilation. She was the one who banished sadness with song, who lifted grief with laughter, who turned tears into pearls upon the cheeks of the night. Those who had lost loved ones called upon her, trusting that she would carry their spirits safely into the starry river above. In the quiet of the desert, mourners would look to the Milky Way and whisper, "She guides them now. They walk among the stars, where sorrow cannot follow." And those who lived, those weary from toil, would find in her music a renewal of the soul. Farmers returning from the fields, children tired from play, elders who had seen many seasons. They would rest, knowing that Hathor's joy was woven into the very fabric of the sky. She was not only mother, but friend. Her laughter was said to echo through the chambers of the heavens. It was not a loud laughter, but a quiet one, warm and shimmering, like water flowing over stones. To hear it, even in dreams, was to feel your burdens lighten. Priestesses served her as daughters of the stars. They tended to the rituals, carrying mirrors polished bright as the moon. They would hold them high, catching the sun or the torchlight, and let the rays dance across temple walls. Light, they believed, was Hathor's gift, and in its glow, sadness could not survive. Some carried small rattles shaped like the sistrum, with tiny beads that clattered gently as they moved. It was said that the sound alone was enough to call down her presence, to remind the soul that joy was never far away. Picture now the desert at night. The sand is cool. The horizon is endless. The stars shimmer like jewels scattered upon velvet. In this vastness, you feel her nearness. The goddess of the sky smiles upon you. Her arms, as wide as the heavens, cradle you like a child. She hums softly, and her song drifts into your bones, calming, soothing, stilling every restless thought. Hathor whispers not with words, but with feeling. Her message is carried in the way the stars shimmer, in the way the wind sighs, in the way laughter echoes faintly through memory. And that message is simple. Beauty heals. Joy is sacred. You are safe beneath the stars. The Milky Way was called the Celestial Nile. The people believed it mirrored the great river below, flowing not with water, but with the light of countless souls. Each soul was a star, each star a reminder that love never ends, only changes form. When someone looked upward, they did not see distance. They saw belonging. They saw Hathor's embrace. They saw the gentle promise that no one was ever lost. For the stars are never lost, even when dawn arrives. They only rest until the night calls them forth again. So too the spirit rests. So too the heart. Hathor's joy was not only in the stars, but in daily life. She was present in music played on simple harps, in dancers who moved slowly with flowing linen garments, in mothers who rocked children to sleep with songs older than memory. She was in the warmth of shared laughter at twilight, when friends gathered to speak softly under the glow of lanterns. To honor her was to honor joy itself, to find beauty even in silence, to allow grief to soften, not with force, but with tenderness. Now, in your own resting place, you may feel her still. Her presence drifts across time, carried in the eternal starlight. She does not demand. She does not command. She simply offers comfort, like the cool night air upon tired skin, like the hush of a river against its banks. Her whisper tonight is this: release your sorrow into the stars. Let the Milky Way hold it. Let laughter return to you, gentle as dawn. Rest in beauty, for beauty is a gift that carries you onward. The temple of Dendera sleeps, the stars remain awake, and Hathor, the priestess of the stars, watches over the dreamers. Your breath slows, your body softens, the story becomes quieter, like a candle burning low. Now the night carries you forward, as though on the river of light above. The stars shimmer kindly, guiding you into deeper rest, and from the heavens her voice drifts once more. You are safe, you are loved. Sleep now, child of the stars. Sleep. Let us drift onward, for another story awaits in the next breath of the night. The night is hushed. The stars above rest like distant embers, glowing faintly against the endless dark. The wind drifts low and quiet, brushing gently across ancient stone. And in this quiet, the story rises once more. It carries you to the heart of Rome, where marble walls shone in the light of torches, and the sound of sandals echoed across wide courtyards. Here, at the center of the city, a flame was kept alive, never allowed to fade, never allowed to die. It was more than fire. It was spirit. It was the heartbeat of the people, and its guardians were women, the daughters of the sacred flame, the Vestal virgins. Imagine now a round temple, small but filled with light. Its columns rise like white trees, holding the dome aloft. Inside, in the center, rests a single flame. It flickers softly, stretching upward, as if reaching toward the sky. The fire never sleeps. It has burned since the city's beginning, and it will burn for as long as the daughters tend to it. Their steps are soft upon the stone floor. White garments flow around their ankles, linen robes untouched by dust. Veils cover their hair, but their faces glow with the light of the fire. They carry small bowls of incense, adding fragrant smoke to the air. Resin, pine, and myrrh rise into the dome, weaving with the fire's breath. The flame listens, the flame breathes, and the flame endures. The Vestals were chosen young, children, often no more than 10 years old, taken from noble families and brought into the temple. For 30 years they served. 30 years of tending the flame, of living within sacred walls, of becoming vessels of stillness and devotion. They did not belong to families. They belonged to the fire. They did not live ordinary lives. They lived in rhythm with eternity. And yet, it was not duty that filled their hearts, but reverence. For the flame was Rome itself. If it died, the people believed the city would crumble. To keep it alive was to keep the soul of the people alive. Picture one of them now. She kneels upon the cool stone floor, eyes lowered, hands folded upon her lap. The fire's glow paints her cheeks with gold. Her breath is slow, matching the rhythm of the flame. With every exhale, it seems to lean closer, as if listening. With every inhale, it steadies itself, as if taking comfort in her stillness. Around her, the other Vestals move quietly, like shadows. They feed the fire with small sticks, with sacred herbs, with offerings given by the people. They whisper prayers in voices so soft they almost dissolve into silence. And always, the flame listens. The flame remembers. The flame does not sleep. The people of Rome trusted the daughters. They saw them not as ordinary women, but as bridges between earth and spirit. To walk past the temple and glimpse their white robes was to feel blessed. To hear their footsteps was to feel the nearness of peace. The daughters carried a kind of quiet power. They could calm disputes. They could soften judgments. For in their presence, people remembered the flame, and the flame reminded them of eternity. It was not the roar of battle that guarded the city, but this small, quiet fire, watched by gentle hands. At night, when the streets grew silent and the city slept, the daughters still remained awake. Some sat in vigil, eyes upon the flame. Some walked slowly around it, their steps echoing like the turning of time. And in those hours, the flame grew brighter. It was said that if you looked into it deeply, you could see not only fire, but the spirit of the goddess Vesta herself, a motherly warmth, eternal, unchanging. She was the hearth of every home, the warmth of every meal, the light of every dawn. And her daughters were her keepers. The fire was more than light. It was memory. It held the prayers of the city, whispered into it by countless lips. It held the stories of Rome, from its founding to its triumphs, its losses, its hopes. Each spark was a reminder that nothing was truly gone, only transformed into flame. When soldiers left for battle, they looked to the flame for blessing. When children were born, families whispered their names to it, asking for protection. When the city faced hardship, people came to the temple, leaving offerings, trusting the daughters to keep the fire strong. Always the flame endured. Now, imagine yourself there. You walk softly into the temple, your steps hushed upon stone. The warmth of the fire greets you, wrapping around you like a cloak. You sit near it, watching as the sparks rise one by one into the air. Your breath slows, your eyes soften. You feel as though the flame watches you in return, listening to your silence, understanding your unspoken thoughts. You realize then what the ancients felt, that this flame is not outside of you, but within you. That the daughters keep alive not only the city's fire, but the spark of every soul. The Vestals were called pure, but purity was not absence. It was fullness. A heart filled with light, a soul free of distraction. They were not empty vessels, but radiant ones, carrying the flame within and without. When their 30 years of service ended, they left the temple as women of wisdom, no longer daughters of the flame, but living embers themselves, carrying its warmth into the world. Some married, some lived quietly, but all remained marked by the fire, forever listening to its eternal whisper. The flame itself never died, not until centuries later, when the old ways faded. But in stories and memory it still burns, for fire never truly disappears. It changes, it moves, it hides within wood, within stone, within the heart. And tonight, it glows before you still. It is the fire of devotion, the fire of stillness, the fire that guards your own rest. Now the temple grows quieter. The last footsteps fade, The city sleeps beyond its walls. Only the flame remains, steady and calm, its light wrapping the night in a gentle embrace. The daughters sit in silence, their eyes upon the glow. You feel your breath joining theirs. Slow, soft, peaceful. The flame whispers to you now. You are safe. You are warm. You are part of the eternal light. Let its glow settle within you. Let its warmth guide you deeper into rest. And as the night carries you onward, the story softens. Like a candle burning low. Now, drift onward, for another tale waits in the stillness of the next dawn. Night gathers gently over the desert. The stars above open their 1,000 eyes, each one calm, each one bright, and beneath their gaze, the Nile moves in silence. Its waters are wide, silver with moonlight, soft as silk, flowing endlessly through the land. Palms sway along its banks, their fronds whispering in the breeze. The air smells faintly of lotus, and the distant hum of insects folds into the night like a gentle song. Here, in the stillness, you drift. You float upon the ancient river, its currents carrying you as softly as breath. The water is cool against your skin, wrapping you in its timeless embrace. This is not just water. This is memory. This is spirit. This is the eternal river of Isis. Isis, the Great Mother, the healer, the goddess of magic and compassion. Her story is the story of love that endures even beyond death. Her song is the song of rivers, of tides, of every flow that cleanses and renews. Long ago, her beloved Osiris was broken, his body scattered across the land. The world dimmed, shadows crept over the earth, and sorrow hung heavy. But Isis did not surrender to despair. With patient devotion, she searched, gathering every piece, cradling them with her hands, wrapping them with her words, her breath, her tears. She healed him not with force, but with love. She stitched the broken world with tenderness. And from her magic of care, Osiris rose again. The Nile remembers. Each wave carries her devotion. Each drop holds her healing. When the river floods, bringing life to the fields, it is said to be her gift. Her tears of longing became waters of renewal. What was barren becomes fertile. What was broken becomes whole. Close your eyes, and you feel her presence. The river does not rush. It does not demand. It carries you, slowly, peacefully, like a mother rocking a child to sleep. Her waters are not only outside of you. They move within you too. In every heartbeat, in every breath, the gentle tide flows. Now, imagine the temple of Isis by the river's edge. White stone walls gleam in the moonlight. Lamps burn low, their flames steady, their light soft as gold. In the courtyard, priests pour water into basins, letting the moon's glow touch the surface. The basins ripple, and the water seems alive, whispering secrets of the goddess. Within the temple, statues of Isis stand tall. She holds the ankh in one hand, the key of life. Upon her head rests the throne, her crown, her symbol. Her eyes are carved wide, watching with endless patience, filled with compassion that seems to reach across time itself. Petals of lotus flowers drift upon the surface of bowls, their fragrance rising sweet and clean. Offerings of milk, honey, and bread rest on polished stone, simple gifts given with open hearts. The air feels calm here. The silence is full, not empty. Every breath carries the sense of being seen, of being cared for. Isis was not only the mother of Horus, nor only the wife of Osiris. She was mother to all, healer to all. When people were wounded, they called to her. When grief weighed heavy, they whispered her name. When illness lingered, her waters were poured, her prayers spoken, her healing touch imagined like cool river flow upon hot skin. She was not far. She was close. She was not distant. She was near. Her love flowed like water into every crack, into every brokenness, until the heart felt whole again. Listen now to the sound of the Nile. It flows around you, steady, soothing. Its rhythm is the rhythm of sleep, of dreams, of deep rest. You drift along its surface, eyes closing, body light. The stars above reflect in the water, so that it seems as though you float between two skies, one above, one below, somewhere in that reflection. You sense the presence of Isis. Not a figure, not a face, but a feeling, gentle, enduring. Her touch rests on your shoulder, like the weight of moonlight. Her voice hums low, like the current. You are whole, the waters say. You are safe. You are carried. The myth of Isis and Osiris is not only a story of gods, but a truth of the soul. That grief can soften, that loss can be transformed, that even when broken, something within us can be gathered, mended, and renewed. The waters teach this lesson. Each wave rises, then falls. Each flood comes, then goes. But life returns. Always, the cycle does not end, it renews, and so too does the heart. On the riverbank, reeds bend softly, their stalks rustling in the night breeze. Herons stand still, their reflections trembling in the water. Insects sing faintly, creating a music older than words. You drift past them, the current carrying you onward. The air grows cooler, the moon grows higher, and always the water whispers, reminding you of its endless patience. When you let go, the river carries you. When you rest, the river flows for you. There is nothing to do, nothing to prove, only this gentle drifting, this timeless embrace. The Egyptians believed that in death, souls crossed waters to reach eternity. Isis guided them, cradled them, protected them. Her magic was not fire, not storm, but river. Imagine now as you float that your worries are leaves set upon the surface. They do not sink. They do not fight. They simply drift away, carried into the distance. Each thought loosens, like petals upon the current. Each one carried, each one released. You feel lighter, you feel softer, you feel whole. The river glows now in the starlight. Each ripple shimmers, silver and blue, like threads of woven cloth. It is as though Isis herself has spread her veil across the water, sheltering all who rest beneath it. Her veil is the night sky. Her veil is the river. Her veil is your own breath, wrapping you gently, and through it all her love whispers, "Be at peace, be renewed, be still." The temple bells ring softly in the distance, a low humming tone that carries across the river. It is not a call to action. It is a lullaby. It drifts through the night air, joining the sound of water, joining the rhythm of your breath. The river carries you deeper, deeper into rest, deeper into stillness, deeper into the dream of Isis. Let the waters cradle you now. Let the current carry you where you need to go. There is no effort here, only flow, only softness. The grief of the world dissolves into the stream. The worries of the day fall away like dust into water. All that remains is this, a river, a goddess in your breath, slow and calm. And so the story rests. The Nile continues its journey, endless, eternal. The stars continue their glow, and Isis, mother of healing, keeper of love, remains ever near. Now drift onward as her waters carry you deeper into the night. Now rest as the stars return and the river sings you into dreams. The night is quiet. The moon rises, round and clear, spreading silver light across the still earth. You enter a forest. The air is cool here. The scent of pine drifts softly, mixed with the sweetness of wild herbs. Owls call from hidden branches. Their voices echo gently, never harsh, only low and steady. The trees stand tall, their trunks dark against the pale glow of the sky. Each branch sways lightly, stirred by a breeze that feels as soft as breath. Shadows ripple upon the ground, not frightening, but peaceful, like a slow dance of light and dark. This is the forest of Artemis. This is the place where freedom runs wild and untamed, yet never cruel. It is the place of the goddess of the hunt, the protector of maidens, the spirit of the moon. She is not found in temples of stone. She is found here, beneath the canopy of leaves, where the stars peek through like shy candles. Her presence is in the whisper of streams, in the crackle of twigs underfoot, in the song of crickets weaving their music into the night. Artemis walks here, barefoot, her feet light upon the moss. Her hair flows dark, touched by moonlight. Her eyes are steady as the stars. She carries her bow, not for cruelty, but for balance, for keeping the wild as it should be, free and whole. Where she moves, her maidens follow. They laugh softly, their voices like bells carried by the breeze. They are sisters, daughters of the wild. They belong to no king, no hearth, no city walls. They belong only to the earth, to each other, and to the goddess who guides them. Imagine now the circle they form beneath the trees. Torches burn low, their flames steady and golden, flickering against bark and leaf. The ground is soft, covered in needles and grass, cool against their feet. A drum begins to sound. Not loud, not hurried. It is the beat of the earth itself. Steady, patient, as if it were the heart of the forest. The maidens step into rhythm. They move together, not in lines, but in flowing arcs, their bodies weaving like streams. They raise their arms to the sky, to the moon above them, and their shadows stretch long across the forest floor. They dance not for display, not for an audience. They dance for freedom, for joy, for the bond that ties them. Invisible yet strong, Artemis watches. Her gaze is not stern. It is calm, protective. She smiles with a quiet pride, as if seeing the strength and purity of her maidens reflected in the light of the moon. She teaches them this truth, that to belong to the forest is to belong to life itself. To breathe with the trees, to move with the rivers, to rest with the stars. She teaches that freedom is not loneliness, it is sisterhood. It is shared laughter in the night air, the feeling of shoulders brushing in the dance, the comfort of knowing that even in the wildest silence, you are not alone. The drum fades. The maidens' steps grow softer. Their dance becomes like ripples on still water, slowing, calming, until all is quiet once more. They sit upon the moss, forming a circle. The torches dim, leaving only the silver glow of the moon falling gently through the canopy. Their breaths move in unison, slow and steady. Each exhale rises into the night like smoke. Drifting into the stars, Artemis stands among them, tall and still, her presence a shield, her spirit a comfort. She does not speak. She does not need to. Her silence is a language of its own, and in that silence, the forest speaks instead. Leaves rustle. A night bird calls. A stream in the distance trickles softly, carrying moonlight upon its surface. The Greeks told stories of Artemis as the huntress, the archer, the one who walked where others feared. But beneath the strength was a deep gentleness, a care for creatures, for maidens, for the freedom of all things to live as they must. She was the cool of shade on a hot day. She was the silver glow of the moon after fire has burned out. She was the hand that steadies without binding. And so, her forest was more than trees. It was sanctuary. It was the place where fear dissolved and hearts remembered their own wild rhythm. Now, listen again to the sound of the forest. It hums like a lullaby. It breathes with you. You feel the moss beneath you. Soft, cool, steady. You feel the night air. Gentle, clean, carrying the faint perfume of wildflowers. Above, the stars shine in quiet clusters, their light ancient, their glow eternal. They are like the maidens themselves, bound in a circle, each one bright, each one free, yet shining together. The forest, the sky, the maidens, the goddess, each a part of the same harmony, each note soft, each note necessary. You close your eyes. You feel the dance within you still, even though the drums have faded. It is not movement now, but rhythm. The rhythm of your breath, of your heartbeat, of the earth beneath you. Artemis watches, her hand steady on the bow, her spirit close. She guards your rest. She guards your dreams. Her maidens lean upon each other, their laughter now only whispers. Their eyes close. Their bodies sink into the softness of the earth. The forest accepts them, the night cradles them, and the moon keeps watch from above. This is the lesson of Artemis's forest, that freedom can be gentle, that wildness can be safe, that in the quiet of the night, in the circle of kinship, every soul belongs, and as the torches fade completely, and the forest folds itself into sleep, you two are folded into the silver veil of moonlight, into the soft embrace of shadows, into the calm silence of the goddess's forest. Now rest, rest as the maidens, rest, rest as the trees rest, rest as the stars keep watch. Let the forest hold you, let Artemis guard you, let the night carry you deeper, breath by breath, into dreams, and let us drift onward, as the moon continues its climb, and the forest sings you softly into sleep. The night deepens, and the air grows still. Soft stars hang like pearls above a quiet horizon. You drift along a silver path, where the hush of crickets and the faint call of night birds cradle your thoughts. The world feels wide, yet tender. You walk as though upon a dream. following a current of calm that carries you toward a river of light. The river gleams in the moon's reflection, flowing without haste, without end. Its waters are smooth, touched by faint ripples that glisten like strands of silk. The breeze holds a faint fragrance, as though of jasmine and sandalwood drifting together, whispering of something sacred. And upon this river rests a presence, calm and luminous. It is she, Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom, of music, of flowing knowledge. Her form is gentle, as though sculpted from light itself. She sits upon a white lotus that floats on the surface of the river. Her robes are pale as morning clouds, gliding with the rhythm of water. In her hands she carries sacred gifts, a book, resting like a heart of learning, a stringed instrument, soft and delicate, waiting to be touched, a rosary of crystal beads that gleam with quiet devotion, and a pot of clear water. The essence of clarity, the river around her seems to sing, though no voice is heard. Its current hums like a memory of music, ancient yet fresh. It feels as though the stars above lean closer to listen, as though the earth itself rests more peacefully in her presence. You step nearer, and with each breath, you feel your mind become lighter. The clutter of the day begins to fade, the weight of unanswered thoughts, the restless search for meaning. Slowly, they dissolve. For in Saraswati's gaze, all confusion melts like mist in the warmth of dawn. She does not speak with words. Her silence is her song, and yet you hear her voice, clear as water, inside your heart. She whispers not to the ear, but to the spirit. She reminds you that wisdom is not always about knowing. Sometimes, wisdom is simply resting, letting the river of life carry you gently onward. Her veena, the instrument she holds, shimmers in her hands. When her fingers brush its strings, a soft chord blooms. It is not loud, nor sharp. It is like the opening of a flower, slow, tender, patient. The sound floats into the air and joins with the river's flow. The notes become waves, carrying peace through the night. The forest along the river listens. The leaves seem to still themselves. The birds tuck their heads deeper into their feathers. Even the stones by the water glow faintly, as if touched by her song. You feel that her music has no beginning and no end. It is as eternal as the stars above, as unbroken as the river beneath. Her beads shine softly in her hand, one by one. She turns them like counting the breaths of creation. Each bead holds a story, a prayer, a hymn, a memory. The chain seems endless, yet never heavy. It is like the passing of time itself, measured not in haste, but in rhythm, gentle and calm. Her book rests open beside her, but its pages are not filled with letters. They shine with light, as if wisdom is not captured in words, but in silence. The silence between notes of music, the silence between thoughts, the silence between breaths. She teaches that wisdom is not always something to grasp. Sometimes it is something to release. You breathe with, or the river breathes with you. The whole night seems to slow its heartbeat, to match the softness of her rhythm. And in this quiet, your own mind becomes like the water, still on the surface, deep beneath, flowing ever onward. There is no need to struggle for answers here, no need to chase or to cling. The questions of the day have softened, like petals closing in the night. The goddess smiles and you feel that all is already known, all is already safe. For every thought will return to the river, every fear will find its rest, every wandering spirit will find its way home. The river carries you now. You drift upon its surface, weightless, calm. The stars above watch gently. Their reflections sparkle like lanterns in the moving water. Saraswati's music follows, like a quiet guide. Her song does not push, does not pull. It simply surrounds you, tender as the moonlight, endless as the sky. Her water pot tips slightly, and from it flows a stream of light. It blends with the river, glowing brighter for a moment. This is the water of clarity, flowing through all things. It washes through your spirit, lifting heaviness away. Thoughts untangle, as though combed by a gentle hand. Memories fall into place, no longer scattered. What was once restless now drifts in harmony. The forest opens wider as the river carries you onward. Tall trees lean over, their branches brushing the current. Their roots sink deep into the soil, steady and still. They seem to bow to the goddess, offering their strength in silence. The night becomes like a temple, the river, the altar, the stars, the lamps of heaven, and Saraswati, the keeper of hidden wisdom, sits at its center, glowing softly, endlessly. Her voice returns within you. It says that wisdom is not far away. It lives already in the heart. It lives in kindness, in patience, in gentleness with oneself and with others. Like the river, it does not need to rush. It flows because it must. It flows because it is its nature. The Veena sings once more. A melody so slow, so pure that you cannot tell when it begins or ends. It seems to rise from the river, from the trees, from the sky itself. You float in its sound, resting as though held by unseen arms. Every note cradles you deeper, further, softer. The goddess remains, yet she also fades. Not as if she is leaving, but as though she becomes the river itself. Her robe becomes water, her hair becomes light, her smile becomes the stars, and her music becomes the pulse of the night. She is not gone, for she is everywhere. Her wisdom flows with every drop of water, every flicker of moon, every breath of your chest. The river slows, as if inviting you to close your eyes. The stars grow softer, like embers resting in the sky. The forest sighs, as though settling into slumber. All things move gently into stillness. Now you rest in her song. Now you breathe in her wisdom. There is no need to seek, no need to wander. The answers rest like the river, carrying you without end. Peace, clarity, and quiet dreamlight surround you, and so let us drift onward, deeper into the flow of night, deeper into the silence of stars, until all thought is carried, until all sound is music, until all rest is found. Now, sleep, as the keeper of hidden wisdom watches over you. The night stretches wide across the desert. A vast silence covers the sands like a soft veil. The stars shimmer with unusual clarity here, unbroken by cloud or tree. Each one shines like a tiny lamp, guiding the eyes upward, guiding the heart inward. The air is cool, though the sands still remember the warmth of the day. A faint breeze glides across the dunes, shaping the ridges with quiet patience. You walk across this stillness. Your steps leave gentle prints in the sand, marks that will soon be smoothed away by wind. The horizon is endless, like a golden sea resting beneath the darkened sky. In this place, time slows. The world feels both ancient and eternal, as though every grain of sand holds memory, as though every star holds prayer. And here, in this desert calm, a presence stirs. She has always been here, waiting, watching, blessing. She is Al-Lat, the great mother of the desert, protector of travelers, guardian of tribes, and keeper of silent strength. Her presence does not rush toward you. It rises like the moon, slowly, tenderly, steady as breath. A soft glow forms among the dunes. At first, it seems like pale firelight, but gentler, like silver woven into the air. The glow shapes itself into a figure. She is tall, yet she feels near, like a mother bending close to soothe her child. Her robe is white as the sands beneath the moon. Her face is kind, carved from stillness and patience. Her eyes hold both the dawn and the dusk, as though she has watched over the desert for endless ages. She stands not in a temple of stone, but beneath the temple of sky. Her altar is the sand, her lamp is the moon, her song is the wind, and still, her presence fills the vastness like the heartbeat of the earth. You step closer, and the desert itself seems to hush. The wind slows. The stars seem brighter, as if bowing their light toward her. Al-Lat lifts her hands, not to command, but to bless. From her palms flows a warmth, soft as a mother's embrace. It drifts over the desert, covering the sands like an invisible blanket. It touches you, and your body loosens, your heart softens, your breath steadies. She is the guardian of patience. Her blessing is not loud or sudden. It is slow, like water sinking into the earth. It is gentle, like the growth of a date palm from a single seed. Her strength is not in sharp force, but in endless endurance, in the quiet power of holding steady through time. The desert is her teacher, and she is the desert's voice. She shows that silence is not emptiness. It is fullness unspoken. She shows that waiting is not weakness, it is strength, hidden within stillness. She shows that love is not always seen. It is often felt, like the coolness of night after the harshness of day. Her voice does not break the silence. It flows with it. It feels like wind across your cheek, like a distant drum carried through the night. She tells you that every traveler in the desert carries two burdens, thirst and hope. The thirst makes the journey heavy, but hope makes it possible. Her blessing is to balance the two, to give strength for the steps that must be taken, and rest for the moments when nothing can be done but wait. Around her, the dunes shift. They seem to glow faintly in her presence, as if the sand itself remembers her touch. Long ago, tribes gathered beneath the stars to call her name. They brought offerings of grain and milk. They raised their hands to the sky, asking her to bless their families, to protect their caravans, to shield them from the storms that could rise without warning. She heard them, and her silence was her answer, for her blessing is not always spoken. It is the unseen guidance that leads a caravan to water. It is the quiet courage that keeps a traveler moving when the path is long. Her eyes turn to you now, and in her gaze, you feel both vastness and closeness. You feel as though you are a single grain of sand, small, fragile, yet part of an endless whole. You feel that your life, too, is carried in her desert. Every challenge you face is like a dune, steep, yet possible to climb. Every pause is like an oasis, meant for rest, not forever, but enough. The moon above glows brighter. It casts long silver shadows across the desert. It outlines her form like a crown of light. She places her hands upon the air, and the shadows soften. The dunes no longer look sharp. They ripple like waves, gentle and calm. The desert becomes a sea of rest, and you float upon it, safe in her care. Al-Lat's presence carries memory. She has seen countless generations walk beneath her stars. She has watched their struggles, their prayers, their joys, and their griefs. She holds them all, like a mother holds her children's stories close to her heart. And she holds you, too, without question, without condition. Her blessing does not depend on what you bring, or what you ask. It flows simply because she is mother, and the mother always gives. The wind rises again, but softly. It carries the faint scent of desert flowers, rare and precious, blooming after hidden rain. Their fragrance is light, almost imagined, but real enough to stir comfort in the heart. The flowers bloom not for show, but for survival, yet their beauty remains undeniable. So too, Al-Lat teaches, does patience create quiet beauty? Even in waiting, there is growth. Even in stillness, there is life. She turns, and her robe flows like a shifting dune. Her presence seems to stretch across the horizon. She becomes the moonlight, the sands, the stars, the silence. She is everywhere, and yet she is near. As close as your breath, her blessing continues, unending, like the desert itself. The night deepens, the air cools further. The sands grow darker, yet never fearful, for the mother remains. Her embrace surrounds you, soft as sleep itself. Your body loosens, your mind drifts, your spirit rests. You feel patience growing within you like roots deep in the earth. You feel strength rising like dawn beyond the horizon. And you feel calm, endless calm, as though you are held in the arms of the desert mother herself. Let the sands cradle you now. Let the stars shine softly above. There is nothing to chase, nothing to solve, only the quiet blessing of Al-Lat, given freely, flowing like moonlight over an endless sea of dunes. And so, let us drift onward, into deeper stillness, into wider peace, until the night itself becomes your rest. The night here is deep and cold. The air tastes of snow, sharp and clean. The ground beneath is frozen, yet it glimmers with quiet light. Moonlight spreads across the white fields, turning them into oceans of silver. The silence is wide, yet not empty. It holds the breath of the north, still, strong, eternal. You drift into this frozen world. Your steps are soft, muffled by snow. The trees stand like tall guardians, their branches dressed in frost. The stars above are clearer than crystal. They seem closer, as though they lean down to watch the earth. Every sound carries far in this silence. The crack of ice, the whisper of wind, the soft beat of a drum. Yes, a drum. It echoes faintly through the night, slow, steady, like a heartbeat. It does not disturb the silence. It joins it, weaving with it. The sound is both near and far, like the pulse of the earth itself. You follow it step by step until you see her. A woman stands within a circle of snow-lit stones. Her cloak is of fur, lined with feathers and beads that shimmer in the moonlight. Her hair falls long, blending with the night. Her hands hold a round drum, stretched with skin, painted with patterns of sky and earth. She is the shamaness, the dream walker, the bridge between worlds. Her eyes close as she beats the drum. The rhythm is slow, steady, lulling. Each sound seems to sink into the air, as though the sky itself listens. Her breath rises in white clouds. Floating into the cold night, her voice hums low, a chant carried on the wind. The words are not meant for the mind. They are for the spirit, for the space between waking and sleep. She calls not for crowds, not for noise, but for balance. Her song is a thread that ties the worlds together. Her rhythm is a boat that carries the soul across hidden waters. Her chant is a bridge between earth and sky. Around her, shapes begin to stir, not of flesh but of spirit. Shadows that are not shadows. Birds with wings made of stars. Deer with antlers of light. They gather in silence, listening to her drum. Each beat seems to awaken them. Each chant seems to guide them closer. She is not afraid of them. They are not strange to her. They are her companions, her guides, for she walks between the seen and unseen. She knows the paths where most eyes cannot go. Her drumbeat continues. It steadies like a slow heart. It comforts like a mother's hand. You feel it moving through your chest, aligning your own heartbeat with its rhythm. The sound is not only outside you, it is within you, flowing like a quiet river. The shamaness breathes, and her breath becomes mist. The mist rises, curling into patterns above her head. It twists into spirals. Like smoke from a sacred fire, the spirals climb higher, reaching toward the stars. They form a bridge, invisible yet clear, linking earth to sky. Her chant grows softer now. It is almost like a lullaby. Her voice is the voice of the north wind. Calm, cold, but kind. She speaks not of battles or storms. She speaks of dreams, of rest, of journeys taken not by foot, but by spirit. In her vision, the soul is like a bird. At night, it spreads its wings and flies. It drifts over mountains and seas. It touches the stars, then returns gently at dawn. Her role is to guide the flight, to keep the path safe, to bless the return. The spirits around her bow low. The deer lowers its shining antlers. The birds fold their wings of stars. Even the trees seem to lean closer, as though listening. The whole night becomes her audience. The whole world hums with her rhythm. Her drum slows. Each beat now is like a falling snowflake, soft, measured, silent in its landing. Her chant quiets until it is almost breath. The spirits begin to fade, like mist dissolving in sunlight. They do not vanish in fear. They leave in peace, carried back to their realms by her song. She opens her eyes. They are dark as midnight, but full of light. Her gaze is steady. Calm, she looks not at you, but through you, as if seeing the soul that lies beneath. And in that gaze, you feel seen, held, understood. The shamaness lays her hand upon the drum. Silence returns, yet it does not feel empty. It feels full, like a blanket wrapped close. The rhythm of her drum still lingers in your body. It has become your own rhythm now, steady, gentle, calm. Above, the northern lights begin to move. They sweep across the sky in ribbons of green and violet. They shimmer like curtains of spirit, drifting between earth and heaven. The shamaness tilts her head to them, as if listening. The lights respond, flowing faster, glowing brighter, as though they too are part of her chant. For the people of the north, the sky itself is alive. The lights are spirits dancing. The winds are voices speaking. The snow is memory, storing the silence of the ages, and the shamaness is the one who listens, the one who translates, the one who guides. The night deepens. The drum rests in her hands. The wind softens, carrying her chant into the distance. Her voice lingers, low and tender, telling you that rest is sacred, that sleep is a journey, not an end, that dreams are bridges, not illusions. She lifts her hand once more. She does not wave. She simply lets her presence flow outward, blessing the silence, blessing the snow, blessing you. It is a blessing of stillness, of safety, of peace. The cold no longer bites. It soothes. The silence no longer feels empty. It feels full. The night no longer feels vast. It feels close, warm, protective. You breathe slowly. The rhythm of the drum remains within you. Beat by beat, it rocks you, steady as the northern wind. Her chant still hums faintly in your chest, like a lullaby remembered from long ago. And so, under the stars, under the glowing sky, you rest, carried by her rhythm, carried by her chant, carried by the spirits of the north who drift like snow. Now the night grows softer. The stars draw closer. The snow becomes a blanket. The world becomes sleep. And the shamaness watches, calm and silent. Her blessing remains steady and kind. As you drift, let us drift onward now, into the dream world she has opened, into the quiet rest that waits beyond, where spirit and sky meet in peace. High above the world, where the air is thin and clear, the mountains rise like ancient guardians. Their snowy crowns glimmer beneath the early light. The valleys below rest in shadow, still wrapped in silence, waiting for the touch of dawn. In this stillness, the people of the highlands turn their hearts to the sky, to the golden sun that awakens all things. The Inca called him Inti, the shining father, whose warmth gave life to stone and seed alike. Yet beside his radiance, there were those who tended his light upon the earth. They were the chosen daughters, the sacred maidens who carried the warmth of Inti not only in ceremony, but in spirit. Their lives were woven into the rhythm of the sun itself, like golden threads in a vast and patient tapestry. You may imagine them now, moving gently through the courtyards of Cusco, the holy city. The air is cool, crisp, and touched with incense. Their steps are soft, their garments woven with patterns that shimmer faintly like sunlight caught on water. They are called the Al-Lat, the chosen women, the virgins of the sun. Their days begin before the first light reaches the mountain peaks. In the hushed darkness, they rise to prepare offerings of maize, of woven cloth, and of sacred drink brewed from the sweet gifts of the earth. With every movement, there is care. With every breath, there is prayer. For in their service, even the simplest act becomes an offering. And when the first rays spill across the Andes, they lift their hands. Their voices rise, not loud but steady, carrying warmth like the sun's own touch. Their hymns do not seek to command but to harmonize, to align the human heart with the vast and gentle cycles of the sky. The sun climbs higher, and the golden light spreads over terraced fields, over flowing rivers, over villages that cling to the sides of mountains. The people feel its blessing, and they know the daughters of the sun stand in quiet devotion for them all. Their temple is simple yet radiant. Walls of stone embrace the air, each block placed with care, as though fitted by the hand of time itself. Within these walls rests a chamber lined with gold, not as mere treasure, but as a mirror for the sun's glory. When daylight enters, the room seems to glow from within, as though the very breath of Inti has touched the earth. Here the daughters kneel, their heads bowed, their hearts lifted. Yet their duty is not only within the temple. They weave fine cloth, more delicate than any other, cloth so fine it was said to be worthy of the gods. They prepare sacred feasts, crafting offerings with patience and reverence. They keep the flame that must never go out, a fire drawn from the heart of the sun, carried carefully through the years. Their lives are quiet, but not small. Each act, though gentle, holds weight. Each prayer, though whispered, carries far. They are bridges between heaven and earth, between the shining Father above and the living children below. The mountains listen, the rivers remember, and the people, scattered across valleys and ridges, feel the unseen blessing. There is a tale told of one such maiden who in her youth was chosen to join the house of the sun. Her village wept to see her leave, but they knew she would carry their love into her sacred duty. She learned to weave threads as fine as spider silk, each design a story, each pattern a song of the land. She learned to brew the chicha, the sacred drink, not as a task, but as an art, with each step a prayer. Yet her greatest gift was not in her hands, but in her spirit. She carried kindness in her gaze, and when she sang, it seemed the very air grew warmer. In time, her voice became part of the great ceremonies, rising with the others, a living ray of light drawn down from the sky. The people said that when she sang at dawn, the sun seemed to rise more gently, as though listening. Such was the mystery of the sacred daughters. They lived apart, yet they were never separate. Their devotion was a fire that warmed the whole world. As the years passed, the cycle continued. Maidens were chosen, trained, and cherished. They carried their duties with grace, offering not only gifts of the earth, but gifts of the heart, patience, dedication, and quiet strength. And though time has carried away many of their temples, though the golden walls no longer gleam as they once did, the spirit of their devotion lingers. It rests in the sunlight that brushes the Andes each morning. It whispers in the wind that flows between stone terraces. It glimmers in the patient rivers that wander toward the sea. For the sun has never ceased to rise. And the memory of those who sang to greet him, who offered their lives as vessels of light, shines still, softly, within the great memory of the world. You may picture them once more, as evening falls over the highlands. The mountains blush with the last fire of the setting sun. The valleys sink into shadow, and the stars awaken one by one. Within their temple, the maidens kneel before the fading glow, giving thanks for the day just lived and preparing their hearts for the dawn to come. The golden flame burns steady, never faltering. Their whispers rise into the cooling air, carried upward, carried outward, like the last warm breath of daylight, and so the rhythm continues, sunrise and sunset, offering and prayer, warmth and stillness. The sacred daughters of the sun remain, not in flesh, but in spirit, woven into the fabric of memory, shining in the eternal dance of night and day. Rest now with them. Feel the warmth of their devotion, gentle and unending. Like sunlight upon your skin, let their song carry you deeper, softer, into the quiet valley of sleep. For dawn will come again, and the sun will rise again, and the blessing of light will never leave you. Let us drift onward, beneath the watch of stars, as the sacred daughters close their eyes, and the mountains fall silent once more. The night deepens. The stars lean close. The air is cool, steady, and filled with a silence that hums like a gentle hymn. In this quiet, a presence is felt. It is vast yet tender, ancient yet always near. It is the great mother of all, the one who cradles the world in her boundless arms. She is Gaia, the earth itself, the soil beneath your feet, the rivers that flow without end, the mountains that hold the sky. Before temples were built, before words were carved in stone, she was known. Her breath moved in the wind. Her heartbeat pulsed in the waves. Her body was the land, the waters, the hidden fire beneath the ground. And to those who looked upon the world with quiet eyes, she was not only earth but mother. She held life as a mother holds a child, close, tender, and without end. Every tree, every bird, every human being was wrapped in her embrace. In her presence nothing was forgotten and nothing was alone. You may imagine her now. She lies beneath you, vast and endless, yet soft. Her skin is the soil, cool and welcoming. Her hair is the forest, flowing in green waves. Her breath rises as mist, drifting gently across the night air. Her gaze is the stars themselves, shining calmly above, patient and unblinking. In her arms all things belong. The rivers belong, running like silver threads across her body. The mountains belong, tall and strong, resting like bones that hold her shape. The oceans belong, endless and deep, like the flowing of her blood, and you belong. Always, the old myths tell of her birth. From the endless void, from the quiet before creation, she stirred. She rose not as storm or fire, but as steady ground. She spread herself wide, giving space for roots, for rivers, for breath itself. From her came the sky, the seas, and all that lives between. She was not only the beginning, but also the foundation. Even as gods rose and fell, even as temples grew and crumbled, she remained. Silent, steady, holding. The ancients built altars to her, not to ask for riches, but to give thanks. They offered grain, flowers, honey and wine, gifts of the earth returning to the earth. for they knew that every seed, every harvest, every birth was her gift first. In their stories, she was more than soil and stone. She was wisdom itself, patient wisdom, the kind that waits like a mountain, gentle wisdom, the kind that flows like a river. She taught that all things move in cycles, that life returns to death, and death returns to life, like day folding into night, and night into dawn. Even now her voice can be heard, if one listens softly. In the rustling of leaves, she speaks of patience. In the crash of waves, she speaks of strength. In the silence of night, she speaks of rest, and always her message is the same. You are safe, you are held, you belong. Imagine now a valley wide and still beneath the starlit sky. The grass bends gently under the night breeze. A river glides through, silver and slow, carrying the reflection of the moon upon its back. Here, the presence of Gaia feels near, as if the air itself is her hand, stroking gently over the world. In this valley, a child sleeps, curled upon the ground. Above, the stars shimmer like a soft blanket. Around, the earth holds the child without fear, for the Great Mother never lets go. Even in the deepest dark, she remains. So too with you. Each breath you take is drawn from her air. Each beat of your heart is joined to her rhythm. Each step you have ever taken was supported by her ground. When storms rise, they rise within her arms. When skies clear, they clear within her embrace. And when night comes, it is her lullaby that draws the world into rest. In ancient hymns, it was said that Gaia's embrace stretched beyond the earth, beyond rivers and mountains, reaching even into the stars. For she was not only mother of the soil, but of the cosmos itself. Every star was a jewel upon her crown, every planet a child born from her breath. The heavens themselves were part of her body, part of her endless care. And so when you gaze upon the stars at night, you gaze into her eyes, calm, patient, eternal. They whisper down to you that you are not small, not lost, not forgotten. You are part of the great whole, a thread woven into her endless cloth. Like the rivers, you flow. Like the mountains, you endure. Like the stars, you shine. She whispers this to you now, in the quiet of night. Her voice is low and steady, softer than a breeze, deeper than a drum. It moves not only through the air, but through your bones, through your heart, through the hidden places of your soul. She says, "Rest, child of the earth. You are safe. You are home. Feel her presence beneath you. The solid ground, the endless patience. Feel her presence above you. The wide sky, the silent stars. Feel her presence within you. The steady breath, the gentle pulse. Everything you are is embraced. Everything you are is enough." The ancients ended their prayers to Gaia not with fear, but with gratitude. Gratitude for the fruit of the fields. Gratitude for the stillness of night. Gratitude for the steady turning of seasons. So now, as you lie in stillness, you may feel that same gratitude. Quiet, wordless, like a stone resting on the riverbed, like a leaf drifting upon the water. You are part of her. You are never apart from her. The night deepens further. The stars glow like gentle embers. The rivers slow their song. The mountains fade into shadow. All things return to her, the eternal mother, the great earth, the endless embrace. And in her arms, you may let go. You may drift into rest. You may close your eyes, knowing you are carried. For Gaia, the eternal mother, holds you always, through day and night, through waking and sleep, through birth and beyond. Now let us drift onward, deeper into her cradle. Let the stars close like soft eyes above you. Let the night wrap you in her patient silence. You are safe, you belong, you are loved. The eternal mother whispers. The world breathes slow, and sleep comes, gentle as dawn returning to the sky.